All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Meditation 1010 on WWSU Radio. The last episode of this semester, believe it or not. Can't believe that that fall has come to an end, and we are in the midst of exam week. Exam week is starting up here at Wright State University, so a lot of you are probably getting prepared for your exams. And I think that's what we're going to focus on today's episode of Meditation 1010. So the approach that I'm going to take for today's show is we're going to talk a little bit about how to prepare for your exams, and our end goal is to help relieve some of the stress and anxiety that comes with taking exams. Now, especially for the freshmen at Wright State University, this may be the first exam week that you've gone through in your college career, and it's certainly not going to be your last, but it might be your most stressful.
In other words, Hell Week.
Yeah, Hell Week as we call it.
Here comes harmony.
But it doesn't have to be Hell Week, though. We're going to talk about some strategies for improving exam week for you and kind of reducing some of that stress. We're also going to do 2 different guided meditations today to kind of help with that. The first meditation we're going to do is specifically focused on reducing anxiety and kind of getting you into a tranquil state. And then the second meditation we're going to do today is kind of more a focused clarity kind of meditation, where we're going to try and help you gain a sense of clarity, being mindful of your thoughts, gaining more insight into your intuition and your intelligence for when you do your exams. So that's kind of our agenda for today. Harmony is now joined with us. How are you doing, Harmony?
Doing just fine.
So, well, you've been in college before, obviously. What have exams been like for you?
Oh, God. In college, like many moons ago. My goodness. Well, I'm one of those weirdos, I guess, that it never really stressed me out. It never really gave me anxiety. It's more like, do I know this? Am I good with this? I wonder what kind of a grade I'm going to get. But I never really had a lot of pressure or anxiety around it. So I did all right. But I do know in this day and age, I have to say that, younger folks are a lot different than what they were back in my day. And maybe there were those folks that were anxious and nervous, but I never ran into them. But now everybody on the planet has got some form of anxiety or nervous tension, because there's so much going on.
I think nowadays, especially nowadays, college students are more pressured to have jobs and things like that because the cost of living has gone way up.
Oh, yeah.
Since your time, Harmony.
Yeah, well, COVID too, and we've had a lot of interesting factors, world events and things like that have caused these things. But yeah, I mean, you could almost compare. People in the 80s were saying, well, look at people in the 50s, they had it so good, so laid back. And then I look at it was good and laid back, but even in the 80s it was still pretty good and laid back. I feel like the light switch really flipped in 1987. That's when we had the harmonic convergence and things just kind of went on their ear. But yeah, totally different world these days for sure.
Definitely. So today I'm going to cover some tips for exam week, some tips for preparing for your exams. Pardon my belching there. So we're going to start off with ozstudies.com. Start your preparation early. So starting early with your exam preparation will give you ample time to review everything you have already studied. You probably don't have much time at this point to start your preparation early because exam week starts tomorrow. But let's say if you have, a Thursday exam or something like that, you still have time to start. even if you have an exam tomorrow, you could start preparing today at least.
Depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is, yeah. So make sure you understand your subject thoroughly, and this will make revision much easier. Set up a timetable to manage your time effectively. Note down how many exams you have and the days when you have to take those exams. Set up your study schedule accordingly, and from that you can then set up your personal time as well. So you'll obviously want to take some me time as well between your exams, so that you can break from the tension of those exams and be more focused and productive. The second tip is to organize your study area. So make sure everything around you is organized when you're studying. Make sure you have enough space to keep your notes and textbooks. Ensure that your chair is comfortable. Ensure there's enough lighting in your room and nothing around you that might distract you, like your video games, your phone,
anything that you can fiddle with to distract you from your true job of studying.
I think personally having things like stress balls and fidget items are okay.
Those are, yeah.
Yeah, because those may help you concentrate. There is some, I guess, conflicting evidence to saying that there isn't really empirical evidence to suggest that they help, but for some people they do. It's a case-by-case basis.
Good. If you do have a diffuser for essential oils and things like that, or if you have a diffuser bracelet or just, something to throw around in the air for concentration and focus, if you need energy, peppermint oil is good.
Yeah, and peppermint's really good.
For those people that are anxious and stressed, I would recommend citrusy, like oranges, lemons, scented, even lime, or a combination thereof, which is good for anxiety, PTSD, and stress.
On the note of peppermint, there's also a study tip, and a lot of people have attested to this. Eat some peppermint, whether that's through gum or through an actual peppermint candy. Mm-hmm. Eat peppermint when you're studying, and then eat it again when you take your exam test. And apparently it helps you recall what you studied better. So
interesting.
Yeah, again, there's not really been any research on this, but I've heard this from a lot of people saying that it's helped them. All right, next, of course, review your old exam papers if you've taken exams in the past, see what worked, what didn't work, and so on. I don't personally think this is going to be very effective, especially since you're going to be taking different classes each semester, but maybe you can review the study habits or the techniques that you used and examine which of those worked and didn't work. Next, you're going to want to set some goals for yourself. For example, if you're really bad at math and struggle immensely through math, you might set a goal. I'm going to get through at least 5 equations this session. If I don't get through more, that's okay, as long as I get through 5. I'll go through and summarize these chapters. I'll understand and learn the key concepts that were taught in these lectures. Things like that. If you're a very visual person, you're going to want to make use of diagrams, flowcharts, anything charty or visual. That will help you consume and understand the information more, especially if you're a visual learner. Get together with friends for study sessions. Make sure, of course, you choose friends that are not going to distract you.
No beer drinking, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no playing quarters to get answers, so yeah.
Make sure you choose friends that are committed to studying and getting good grades. Don't go with the party people unless, of course, they take academics seriously as well. And some party people do take academics seriously. But you do want to be mindful about the people you choose in your study sessions. But it can help, especially if you choose the right people, because then you'll be able to bounce off ideas and see things from a different perspective. Hearing lectures and stuff from a professor doesn't always click with us. Sometimes we need to hear it in different words from a different person for us to understand.
Exactly.
Next, describe your answers. So, parents and siblings do not always have to be irritating and annoying, especially around your exam time. To stop them from distracting you, use them to your advantage and start describing the answers that you have prepared to them. This will help you retain things and know the areas where you are lacking and need more work. So this is kind of an auditory learning mechanism. So reciting your answers, you don't even have to have a person around you. Just saying them out loud to yourself can help with this as well. As we've mentioned a couple of times already, study to suit your learning style. Your learning style will help you to know the best ways to prepare for an exam. If you're an auditory learner, you may benefit from recording your notes and listening to them later. Listening to lecture recordings, or as I mentioned, reading stuff, saying stuff out loud to yourself. If you're a visual learner, pictures and diagrams can help you remember. The article doesn't cover this, but kinesthetic learning is also a learning style. And for those people, maybe rewriting and reorganizing your notes, tagging your finger along as you read, things like that will help you.
Highlighting.
Yeah, highlighting.
Yeah. I always used to get the different color highlighter markers of the green, neon greens and yellows and blues, and just outline chapters. I used to be a very visual learner, and that's one of the things that I would do. And I would also write and rewrite notes, like boldface, italics thing, and text. And also take notes when I was in lecture classes, because I was really surprised one time when our psych professor had actually used some of what he had discussed in one of his lectures in our exam, and I was like, oh god, it's a good thing I was there that day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes professors will give cues as to when something they're about to say in lecture is going to be on the exam.
Oh, God knows he didn't.
Sometimes. And like I said, not all professors do this, and sometimes they're very subtle, like body language. You gotta watch the body language. Watch the inflections in the tone of their voice. Sometimes they'll emphasize something more than the other content that's important or that may be on the exam. And sometimes you'll get those really helpful professors that'll outright tell you, this is going to be on the exam, you should write this down. Take regular intervals. This is something that I think a lot of us could be more mindful of. Don't cram for hours on at a time. You want to take breaks in between each of your study sessions, and even breaks within the study session itself. So take regular breaks, because now there is some empirical evidence behind this. Your focus starts drifting off the longer you are studying.
So true.
When you take breaks, you regain your focus level, and so you end up retaining a lot more when you study after a break. But you also got to be mindful of your breaks. Keep them brief, keep them a few minutes. Go for a brisk walk or stretch. Exercise, I've noticed, is a really good thing to do during a break, because it gets your blood flowing, it gets your mind going, and things like that. So doing stretches, going for a walk, take a moment outside, get some fresh air, things like that could really help. Now, as I mentioned, do not cram. Studying all night and cramming will only make you more anxious and stressed out, and chances are you're probably only going to retain 20%, if even that, of what you researched.
Yeah, not unless you're one of those reverse people that, you can soak it up and take it all in. There's not a lot of people out there like that, but there are some. But I would definitely say intervals. I would also say another good strategy is you're comparing well, it's not really comparing, but you would make up a correspondence. If you're reading something, kind of sing it to yourself, kind of put a little music to it in your brain, so that way you're making a little jingle to remember it. Or
maybe a beat, or or a famous word, a mnemonic. as they call it.
Yes.
Which is basically you find some sort of word or something that kind of correlates. It doesn't even have to seemingly correlate, but some sort of key trigger, so that
so that way you remember.
Yeah, when you see this trigger, you remember what you studied. I had to use this in media law class because from what I heard from other people who had previously taken the class, that it was a very difficult class and the failure rate was about 50%.
Oh, wow.
So what I did, I changed up my study strategy for that specific class. I used note cards, but in the corner of each note card, I put either a mnemonic or some sort of trigger phrase that corresponded with the flashcard itself. And so on exam day, just before the exam, I would study the flashcards themselves the night before, but then right before the exam, I'd look through my trigger words and then try and recall what those were without looking at the rest of the flashcard. And it was very effective, at least for me.
Yeah, and then of course for the med students that have, the anatomy and things like that, as you see in the books, there's different colors correlating to different parts of the body, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, remembering the colors with that part and some sort of similarity to kind of pull you in that direction is also helpful.
Yeah. So, one example I'll give you of a mnemonic that I find very cool. This is from mathematics, and it's called SOHCAHTOA, and it has to do with finding sine, cosine, or tangent of a geometrical shape. So you have SO for sine, which is SOH, so side over hypotenuse or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. But you see what I mean, like little things like that. There's also jingles, like the way I remember the quadratic formula is a song. It goes x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a.
Pop goes the weasel. How
Yep.
nice, Triple P.
Literally, my math teacher from high school taught us that
awesome.
jingle.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Because that's one of the most difficult formulas to remember.
Right.
So yeah, continuing on for some tips. Asking for help. This can be a very difficult one for some people. If you don't get something, if you can't understand something, no matter what you try, don't give up. Ask for help, whether that's asking the professor, going to a tutor, asking your parents, your friends, a classmate. Don't just sit in there in the unknown. Ask around and get some assistance with what you are stuck on. Another thing that may be difficult for some people, or at least something that we are not very mindful of, sleep well.
Oh, God, yeah, for sure.
You need sleep, especially during exam week. Get those 8 hours at least of shut-eye. Make sure that you have a well-rounded nighttime or morning routine to prepare you for exams. Do stuff that gets you up in the morning, but keeps you in that relaxed, tranquil state. Also, you're going to want to have a good breakfast as well. You're going to want to make sure that you're eating nutritiously. Get some fruits in you. Get some protein. Protein's a big one during exam week, especially the omega-3s. Get those fatty acids in you from seeds, nuts, fish. Also get those antioxidants from blueberries, cultures from yogurt, citrus, vitamin C.
Bananas are good on the run food as well.
Yeah, definitely. Grab a few bananas, take them with you, and eat them in between your exams. So, and do not evaluate post-examination. So, if you realize you've given an incorrect answer after your exam, it may cause anxiety. So, avoid evaluating your question paper because you can't do anything after your exam. Once the exams are done, they're done. So, just let them go. Move on to the next one. Don't worry about things that have already happened. Of course, drink lots of water. Stay hydrated. because you can't perform at your best if you are not hydrated. That kind of goes hand in hand with the eating nutritious foods
And sleeping well.
and the sleeping as well. Yeah, definitely.
It all goes hand in hand, very much so.
So those are some tips for preparing for exam week. So the next 40 minutes of the show, we're going to do 2 different guided meditations to help you prepare for exam week. The first one we're going to start off with is a simple anxiety reducing meditation. We're going to go through some different breathing techniques to reduce anxiety. And then for the last 20 minutes of the show, we're going to have Harmony join us for some meditation on clarity and intuition and reaching our inner intelligence. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get right into those meditations. Stick around. Welcome back to Meditation 1010 on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're now going to go ahead and get into some guided meditations to help everybody prepare for exam week. So the first meditation we're going to do is we're going to go through some different breathing techniques, some very easy breathing techniques to help reduce stress and anxiety. And then in the last part of our show, we're going to do a meditation on clarity and intelligence. So I want everybody to go ahead and find a place that is free from distractions, a place where you can feel comfortable. Grab anything that would suit you and help you with the meditation, whether that's a prayer shawl, candle, incense, a pet, blanket, stuffed animal,
Cushion, chair. I would definitely do this sitting upright. I would not lay down. This is something that y'all want to do. Sitting up with your feet flat on the ground, or if they're not flat, lotus position's fine, or heels underneath your thighs.
Yeah.
So whatever's comfortable.
And then a disclaimer for those of you listening live on WWSU right now, I would advise changing the channel until 5 p.m. when our show is done, because we don't want anybody who is driving or operating machinery to get into a wreck or an accident. We don't want that. This episode will probably be on WWSU's YouTube channel for future listening, so if you want to check it out at a time where you can safely do so, I would rather you do that than to try and listen live during a dangerous situation. Alright, with that being said, go ahead and get yourself situated. Go ahead and sit in your chair or on your cushion. Make sure your back is straight and your spine is straight. Make sure your feet are firmly planted on the ground if you're in a chair. And then just take a deep, slow inhale through the nose. And out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In and out. Feel yourself enter that meditation space. Feel any tension just go away with each out breath. Focus on your breath and connect it with the rhythm of your heart. Gently move your focus of your breath to your diaphragm. And inhale big and slow. And exhale. Feeling your diaphragm expand like a balloon. Feeling that air purify the inner you. Feeling peaceful. Feeling tranquil. Feeling centered. Feeling present. And now we're going to move to 2-4-6 breathing. Inhale for 2 seconds. Hold for 4. And exhale for 6. And repeat. And again. And again. Moving now into 9-round breathing. Take your index finger and close the left nostril of your nose as you inhale through the right nostril. And as you exhale, switch nostrils. Inhale through the same nostril. Switch nostrils and exhale. In through the same nostril. Switch and exhale. Inhale. Switch and exhale. In. Switch and out. One more time. In. Switch and out. And now we're going to do fire breath. So you're going to inhale as normal. And you're going to exhale quickly. Inhale. And let it out. In. And out. Imagining you're a dragon. And you're breathing out fire. Breathe in. And fire breath. And bring it back into your center. Breathe normally. Bringing your focus back to each breath. connecting your breath to your heart. Wiggling your extremities. Becoming more aware of your surroundings. Becoming more aware of your body. Becoming more aware of the present. And if you had your eyes closed, open your eyes when you're ready. And take notice of any thoughts or feelings that you are currently experiencing. No judgment. Just be aware and be present with them. So Harmony, I know you're not in college, but let's say you had an exam tomorrow. How did that feel?
Well, I'm in the school of life, and it's always an exam daily, Triple P, so let's just put it that way. To me, when you take time to breathe, it clears your channel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gives you a moment to have that relaxation. It gives you a chance just to ground and center yourself. And for those of you that find yourselves having a hard time breathing, if you're going to do something, try washing your hands in some cold water, maybe splashing some cold water on your face, you know, then try the breathing. But something to stimulate you, you know, and that kind of a shock response in a way to get to where you can center yourself again. But yeah, I mean, I feel really calm and relaxed. I got to work at 6 o'clock here tonight, so I need calm and relaxed for this one. It's been crazy.
Yeah, and breathing is something that it's a tool that everybody has and everybody can use at their disposal. So if you ever feel like you're kind of disconnecting or you feel very panicky, just take a moment. Just take a few minutes to breathe. Use that centering breath. Or use whatever technique worked best for you and do that for a few minutes and then return to the present and be aware of the calmness and the clarity that you have afterwards.
You know, there was this thing that I read a long time ago, and it was in a Native American book, and it had to reference to totem animals. And it said in order to ground, grab your head with both of your hands, like on the top of your crown, and put both of your hands on your crown and jump up and down 3 times. And
Interesting.
Yeah, it's supposed to help you to ground a little bit and release that energy. I know that sounds really crazy, you feel stupid, or maybe you feel like you look like an idiot, but it does work.
Well, and another thing I heard was doing like silly dancing, like in your alone time, because if you shake your arms and your legs, you're kind of shaking off tension and negative energy.
Negative energy. Do the Tom Cruise, you know, sticking to the hairbrush in your underwear. Yeah, there you go.
So we hope that the grounding meditation with your breath helped you out, and we hope that the study tips we provided earlier gave you some inspiration to help you with your exams. We're going to take another break on Meditation 1010, and when we come back, Harmony is going to take over for us, and we're going to do a meditation to help expand our consciousness and to help tap our inner intelligence for our exams. So when we come back, we'll get into that. You're listening to Meditation 1010 on WWSU. Welcome back to Meditation 1010 on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're going to get into our second guided meditation for today to help everybody prepare for exam week, and Harmony's going to do this one. We're going to expand our consciousness and tap into our inner intelligence to help us score better on our exams. So Harmony, take it away.
All right, so just relaxing, centering, focusing on your breath. Breathe in deeply. Feel the stomach expand. Hold for just a second and then slowly exhale that breath. Breathe in again. Feel the expansion and exhale. Feel yourself slipping in to that relaxed state of mind, that peak sense of consciousness, that deep inner you that is there. Feeling beyond the body, that internal source that knows all, is all, sees all, and bees all. Breathe and know you know the answers already before you even have to write them on your paper. Whether it's writing down the whole word or true or false, whatever the case may be with your exams. You know the answer before it is written. Trust that answer. Trust that internal source. For that internal source knows. See yourself sitting in your chair, looking through your exam, and on each line, write down the appropriate answer. You barely have to think about it. It just comes in the flash, like a quick light. You feel it, you know it, and you write it down. And you do this on each line. You feel confident, and you know that what you are putting down is true and accurate. And then it comes from a space deep within you that just knows, that just is. Feel the peace within yourself as you take your tests. Feel a sense of calm and relaxing sensations. You have enough time, and all of your thoughts are clear. There's nothing else on your mind. The only thing that's happening is your answers are coming through as needed, one at a time. Trust your instincts. Trust your intuition. There's no second guessing yourself. You know this. You've got this. You have known it all semester. You've known it before you even picked up the book. Your soul intelligent self knows. It knows everything that there is to know in this universe. It knows the truth. It sees the vision and the clarity of the future. And your future is bright. It is filled with abundance. It is filled with infinite possibilities. It is magnificent. And just breathe. And maybe some of you will envision this as the whiteboard or chalkboard in your mind. A blank movie screen, whatever comes to your mind. And see the words appear on that screen so that you can write them down after each question. If you are writing an essay or something a little more elaborate, know that the perfect words are already there. There's nothing to think about. They flow onto the page perfectly, easily. Having that sense of confidence flow through you. There is an ease and a flow. It is perfect. It is the best work that you have done. The easiest work that you have done. And when you have finished, you have a sense of relief. A sense of knowing that all is well in your world. And knowing that you can tap into this inner self anytime that you need. It is always there. It is always working for you, as you, in you, with you. See that perfect score coming to you. Feeling the achievement. Knowing that you can go in any direction that you need to. And just take that deep breath. Breathe in. And exhale. Knowing that that inner guide is always there. You are able to access it at any time that you need. For any situation or circumstance, whether it's exams, life choices, anything that you need. Tap into the presence. Tap into your inner power. And I know all is well in your world during exam week. Breathe and release.
We have a few minutes if we wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Okay. I think the biggest thing to remember is that everybody operates in different waves of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's like there's something that drives us, the observer within us that's always looking out and ahead. And that's the part of you that is reason. That's the part of you that always knows what's going on no matter what's happening all around you. Mm-hmm. And just to rely on that inner intuition and trust, that's the thing that a lot of people don't do, is trusting their intuition. And that's why sometimes we go in the other direction, is because we've not learned to trust our inner compass.
Yeah.
And that's with anything, whether it be your exams, life choice, like we had mentioned, things like that. So this is why we meditate, number one, to get in touch with that internal guide and to be able to have that clarity and that expansiveness in consciousness so we can tackle what it is that's in front of us. Some people, when they meditate, especially into, the clarity, being able to see their answers. Like I said, in the meditation, you may see a whiteboard or a movie theater type of screen, and the answers just appear there. Mm-hmm. And just to let them flow and to be able to just be in balance and in sync with that energy. I think the biggest problem is second guessing yourself, because you put down an answer and all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe that's not it, and you want to take it back. But, definitely trust where you're at, because you do know.
Yeah. I've heard this from professors: when you put down an answer, don't change it unless if you're absolutely sure you had it wrong the first time, because more often than not, you had it right the first time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is really weird. It's a long time ago. And it has nothing to do with exams, but it has to do with when I was, I think, in junior high school. I had taken a test, didn't study at all. There were 20 true or false questions. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, I don't care. So I just put down true, false, 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 true, 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 whatever. And just put what I just guessed. I didn't know. I just guessed. I wasn't really reading, didn't really read the book beforehand. I just pulled it out of the air. And when my teacher was sitting there, getting ready to, what I thought would be is to make my paper bleed, to my surprise, I kid you not, it's a true story, to my surprise, only one answer out of 20 was incorrect.
Wow.
That was crazy, because I thought for sure, since I guessed, I would have had every single one of them wrong. Only one. You want to talk about a divine action? That had to be it. Somebody was saving my bacon somewhere.
Yeah. Just to quantify how likely it is to get 19 out of 20 right on a true false just by guessing, that's 1 out of 2 to the power of 19.
Okay.
So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I have to pull up a calculator for this one.
That's pretty crazy.
I don't even know if my calculator can do powers.
Oh, wow.
At least not on my phone.
Wow.
Let's let Google handle this. What is 2 to the power of 19? Alright, Google says it is. So 1 out of 524,288.
Well,
That's the odds.
At that moment in time, it was 1 out of 1 because there was only one me.
That's true.
But yeah, that is just crazy. Not even picking up the book and just thinking, oh my god, I'm going to get every one of them wrong, but I don't care. And only one was wrong. That just blew my little kid brain.
Want another fun fact?
Yeah, what you got?
It is just as likely to get all of the true or false questions wrong by guessing as it is to get them all right.
Oh, funny. That's hilarious.
So you pretty much have to put in the same amount of work either way.
Wow.
But yeah, math can give you some interesting tidbits there.
I
But
was
that's pretty
saying,
cool.
I've never been good at math myself. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just, I've always been more of a creative soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But and they teach you sometimes in school that there's some mechanisms that you can use in true false questions to determine. You know, often a false statement will have things like always and never. They'll have definitives, as we call them. So, just a fun fact.
There you go.
Anyway, we digress, but this has been our last episode this semester for Meditation 1010. We hope that what we covered in today's episode will help you with your exams this week. And if you want to study WWSU Radio is going to be having a little study area in 018 Student Union all throughout the week. We're going to have some accent lighting, essential oils.
Ooh.
We're going to have nature sounds,
Nice.
refreshments, I think. Just creating a nice, calming atmosphere for studying. So check us out. Meditation 1010 will probably continue through winter break, but we're going to kind of go on the lay low side. We're going to focus on some gratitude meditations and topics. We're going to focus on the holidays a little bit as well, and also towards the new year we're going to focus on starting anew and things like that. So that'll get interesting. And then in spring semester we're going to hit heavy in meditation 1020 on the chakras. So we're going to get into more advanced meditation concepts in the spring. So be sure to check that out. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Meditation 1010, and we'll see you hopefully next week.